everyone, and welcome to this episode of Dishing It Out with Dana. I'm Dana, and on today's show I'm especially excited to start sharing with you a little bit more on my low carb series. I've been eating low carb now for quite a few months, lost a bit of weight, and you know what, just get your pad and pen ready and we'll be right back after this and I'll tell you all about it. Well, I just wanted to go over a little bit about the foods that I eat. You know, a lot of people think low carb is, oh no, got to give up the bread, got to give up the pasta. No. And there's so much you can have, including desserts, and I'm going to go over it all with you. Let's start with breads, first of all. Breads, I love eating these fold-out flat outs. Actually, it's folded flat outs, and they are so good. I love the ancient grains, and I love the 5 flaxseed. And these actually are so delicious. You know, these are only 10 and 7 net carbs each. Isn't that fabulous? Now, when you're eating low carb, what you want to do is you want to stick with net carbs. Net carbs means you take the carbohydrates and you minus the fiber, and thus you have net carbs. Example, on this particular fold out, and this is the 5 flaxseed, and this one will have, for example, the total carbohydrates is 10 and the fiber is 2. So now you're down to 8 net carbs. And when you're trying to lose weight like me, if you're trying to lose 40 pounds or more, you want to stick with the net carbs are going to be maybe 30 to 40 net carbs a day. And that's just my theory. If you have like 100 pounds to lose or 80 or 100, you want to stick with less net carbs. But I stick with about maybe 30 or so net carbs a day. But I love these flat out foldeds. They're so awesome. And again, I love the 5 grain flaxseed and the ancient grains. And you can get these mostly in the deli section wherever you shop. I know here down south, the Ingles has them a lot, and I just love them. And they're really very flexible. Actually, I should just show you what they look like. Let's open one here. See? I have, are you ready? I can eat hamburgers on here. I can eat chicken salad sandwiches. I feel like a real person because I'm really eating bread. A lot of low carbers realize that the white flour and white sugar is the problem with the carbohydrates. But by staying with a very low carb, within your carb amount, your net carb amount that you can have per day, these are wonderful alternatives. All right, excuse me. Also, once in a while in the morning, these, however, these are very thin bagels. Tofuian puts out Smart Bagel, and they're very thin. These are 16 net carbs. So depending upon if you're going to have any net carbs, you know, rest of the day that are going to be in the substance of bread or pasta or something like that, you wouldn't want to have this in the morning. But it's a nice alternative once in a while if you want a little Smart Bagel. These things are very thin. They are so lovely and delicious. I love them. I just had one this morning actually. They're very, very thin bagels, and they look just like this. See, they're very, very thin. Boy, are they delicious. This is an everything bagel, so it's a great alternative. Weight Watchers also puts out a thin bagel. They're called Bagel Thins, but you know what? They're a lot more carbohydrates, and the fiber's pretty good, but again, once you take that carbohydrate and minus the fiber, you get your net carb, and they're just a little too high for me. All right, so another alternative actually I want to talk to you about is pasta. Now, I'm going to debunk the myth that you cannot have pasta, okay? You can have pasta on low carb, for sure. I love my Barilla. Now, I could go to these low carb companies and order low carb bread and low carb pasta, and I have. And they're okay. But I prefer to stick with my Barilla. I'm Italian at heart, and I love my good pasta. Well, this happens to be a high protein, so it's a little bit less in the net carbs. There's a little bit less carbohydrates. And regular Barilla pasta is going to be roughly 45 net carbs. Excuse me, 40 net carbs per serving. It has, in a 2-ounce serving of regular pasta, it usually has 40 carbohydrate grams, and fiber is only 2 grams. So you minus the fiber from the carbohydrate, you come up with 40. So it's 42 grams of carbohydrate, 2 grams of fiber, 2 minus 42 is 40. So in 2 ounces of regular broiler pasta, you're having like 40 net grams of carbohydrates. That's like too much for one day for me. So I really have like 1 ounce of pasta, and by sticking with this, instead of 40 net carbs, it's 38 net carbs. So it's a little bit, just a little bit less. And so for 1 ounce, I kind of split that right in half. And, you know, I have like 18 net carbs because I have like 1 ounce of pasta. And it really is not bad when you put 1 ounce of pasta on your plate with like a piece of chicken or something and some nice vegetables. It's a pretty good serving. It's pretty decent. But this is higher in protein, so you might want to consider purchasing something like that. Now, as far as fruits, you want to try to stay away from high carb fruits. These red grapes and bananas tend to have a lot of natural sugar in them. They're okay, but I wouldn't eat this whole banana, maybe half once in a while. But you want to stick with the fruit that has the least natural sugar in it, and that's your berries. And that's your strawberries, blueberries, and the least net carb that you're going to come up with are raspberries. And you can even freeze them and chill them like I do. They're so good. My gosh. These are great for smoothies, just to have as a dessert with a little whipped topping on it. And yeah, you can have whipped topping too. So that's another thing that you can have is some delicious fruit. And you want to make sure that you're careful with that. You don't want to have too many servings a day. Though the natural sugar is a lot better for you, it's still, you know, all the sugar adds up in your system. Let's talk about desserts. Yeah, yummy. I love Atkins. I love their bars. I love their protein bars. High protein meal bars. They come in chocolates. They come in peanut butters. They come in red chia seeds, raspberry chia seeds. This is amazing. They really are. And they have all these great desserts. These are like little peanut butter cups. They use a lot of sugar alcohol in these. Now, you don't want to have too much sugar alcohol. Sugar alcohol is just a way of sweetening. But sugar alcohol does not affect your blood glucose level. Isn't that great? So hello, like every day I'll have a bite or two of one of these delicious, this is like a Mounds bar. It's like chocolate and coconut. This one's like a cookie crunch. Now this happens to be a meal bar. So I don't have like these meal bars too often, but I will have them like as a little dessert. Chocolate decadence bar. Tastes like a brownie with nuts. It's amazing. So you're allowed to have that. I have that maybe a full one once a day. Also, they have their great shakes. This is French vanilla. I love this. And they also have dark chocolate, and they have other kinds, cookies and cream as well. Now, again, they use a lot of sugar alcohols because you're going to wonder how could it taste so sweet and so good. Once you have these shakes, you're hooked. But I will say, I have them once in a while for like a lunch or something, but I always add sometimes protein powder, and every single time I add is spinach. Spinach, and fresh spinach. And I'm telling you, I must add 2 cups of spinach. I'm telling you, easy. I grab a handful, huge, of spinach and put it in the shake, and you know something? It disappears, the flavor. You don't even need any fruit in there. You just need the shake, the spinach. I'll put sometimes chia seeds or flax seeds in there, and I'll put a little bit of fruit. But you know what? Tons of spinach. That's how you get your vegetables in. This is excellent source of vitamins and minerals and antioxidants, and it's a delicious way to have it. And speaking of vegetables, I have many servings of vegetables every day. I have nice, beautiful peppers from my garden. I have my beautiful tomatoes. I've got my tiny little cherry tomatoes from my garden. Oh, I've got everything. Red peppers, onions. Have a lot of servings of vegetables, guys, every day. And really, vegetables should be a main serving. Have your protein as well. I have chicken. I have beef occasionally. I'll have a hamburger, or I'll have a piece of meat, a piece of steak, or I'll have some London broil. The other day I just made a beautiful pot roast. But what you want to do is have mostly poultry and fish. And that's really your better protein, more source of vitamins, and not as much fat. And you know, also drink plenty of water. You know, our body weights, we're supposed to drink half of our body weights in ounces of water. For instance, if you weigh 150 pounds, half of that is 75. You're supposed to have 75 ounces of water every day. Have water, guys. Don't have soda with all the added sugars, and even diet sodas, they're really bad for you. You don't want to have too much of the funny fake sugar either. Okay, I have that in my coffee. I have stevia. Usually I have stevia, and I mix it a little with sometimes a Splenda additive, but I try to balance it out. and I never have real sugar or sodas. Also get plenty of exercise on low carb. It's very important. The one great thing about exercising low carb, it's amazing. If you're on a low fat diet, like a Weight Watcher or something like that, and you have to exercise, you got to exercise at least 30 minutes, because the first 10 minutes just washes away practically until you get, after your warm up, until you get sweating up a little bit, and then you start exercising for a good 15-20 minutes after that. Gets the heart rate going, burns the calories, but gets the metabolism going. But when you're on a low carb, you don't have all that carb to burn. You're not burning carbs like you are on a Weight Watcher or on another type of low fat diet. You're on a low carb diet. And the carbohydrates turn into sugar. And because you're on a low sugar diet, that 20 minutes of exercise is equal to their 30 minutes of exercise on a low fat diet. You can Google it. They've done all kinds of studies, low fat diet versus low carb diet. Low carb is really the way to go. And there's still so many things you can eat, as you can see. I don't starve. I mean, I have still a ways to go, but on my journey, I'm enjoying it where I'm going, on the way to where I'm going. And you know, there's other things too, like you just want to keep in mind sugar-free. That's the most important thing, sugar-free. Stay away from the sugar. Don't have too many sugar-free products, but when you really want something sweet, have a sugar-free product or sugar alcohol. You can handle that. The blood glucose level will not be affected as much. And once again, it is a low-carb diet. I don't have rice. I don't have noodles like I used to have. I don't want to waste my net carbs on that kind of thing. I really want to have and enjoy the foods that I eat. And I sacrifice and have just a little bit of pasta instead of a lot. But you know something? After a few months of eating this way, after like a few weeks, you don't miss having all that sugar. And the white flour and white sugar, it turns into it. So I can still enjoy toast in the morning on my kind of bread with my husband. I can enjoy so many nice vegetables and protein and even desserts, because the way that I'm eating is all low carb. And my little bit of story so far, I've lost 24 pounds, 25 pounds. I've got a ways to go. I've taken my time doing that. And I notice when I stop exercising for a few days or I stop drinking enough water, it tends to slow down. You really got to, you know, if you lose about even a pound a week for me, I'm happy with. So it'll stay off the rest of my life. I can maintain myself now beautifully. I have to keep going and get more off, but I'm real happy because my energy level is boosted. My feet stopped hurting. The inflammation in my knees completely went away after just a few weeks of doing this. I'm telling you, it's gone. And you want to make sure, don't get hard on yourself when you mess up. Because if you fall back and let's say you make a mistake and you start eating regular ice cream instead of the low carb, oh yeah, and that's another thing. Another dessert I have, by the way. This is called Sweet Freedom Blue Bunny. It's sugar-free. These little guys are 4 net carbs each. Can you believe this? They're adorable. These little ice cream bars. You don't want to forget stuff like that. So there's so many things you can eat, but if you fall off the wagon, look, when you have a GPS in your car and you take a wrong turn, does it yell and scream at you? Then why would you want to yell and scream at yourself when you fall off your eating plan? And don't think of it as a diet. It's a healthy diet. Diet just means really the way you eat. So it's a healthy way of eating for the rest of your life. And you want to like catch it before it gets any further as far as your blood work is concerned. My triglycerides, by hardly eating any sugar and eating the way that I eat now, dropped 50 points. It is now within the medium range. I'm so happy. My blood glucose level, fasting level, dropped 20 points. My total cholesterol number dropped 20 points. My LDL cholesterol dropped 8 points, and it's going down. I mean, my A1C dropped. I'm within a normal range. It's just very exciting for me because the older we get, the more we have to watch. So anyway, I'm here to say, love you guys. I'm so glad that you watch my show, Dishing It Out with Dana. Get on my website, dishingitoutwithdana.com or danasquiche.com, and you'll see all my great recipes. I'm going to be showing more of my low carb series and actually cooking more foods. By the way, I roast a lot of vegetables. You'll see one of my YouTube videos on roasting vegetables, and make sure you watch that because I announced the winner's coming up soon at the end of August. This is 2017, and there's going to be somebody that's going to win a little prize, and we're going to make a quiche on the show named after them. So anyways, and that's another thing. I used to eat quiche all the time. You know, I am the quiche queen, and I am a professional quiche maker. Nowadays, I eat crustless quiche, and I don't even miss the crust. So get on my, also get on in WCNC Charlotte today, and you're going to see, look up Quiche Eugene. you're going to see me do a crustless quiche Eugene. I named it after Eugene Robinson. So it was a lot of fun, and it's a great low carb and way to eat. Okay, so remember, eating low carb is not painful. It's actually joyous and delicious. And you know, it's not like it's a high fat, low carb diet. You don't want to call it that. You are able to eat real mayonnaise and real salad dressings and things like that. It's the carbohydrates that are the culprits, that they're the ones that are the enemies. That is what turns into sugar. So be really careful, guys. Make sure that you choose wisely. If you have mayonnaise, it's okay. It's okay. You don't want to eat globs of it every day, but it's not like taboo like it is on a low fat diet. You don't have to do 1 little teaspoon here and 1 little teaspoon there. I mean, you know, you just want to watch the sugar, watch the ketchups, you know, watch things that are going to all add up. It's the sugar. The sugar is the culprit. There is a cardiologist named Dr. Sinatra. Can't think of his first name, but if you Google him, Dr. Sinatra, cardiologist, S-I-N-A-T-R-A, like the singer, you will find out a lot about what I'm talking about as well to back up things that I've said as far as the culprit being the sugar, and therefore the low carb is the way to go. All right, for Heart Healthy, this is Dana at Dishing It Out with Dana. I'm glad you guys came and spent this few moments with me, and I'll be doing some exciting recipes coming up soon, so make sure to subscribe to my channel because I have contests coming up. Some of you are going to win my cookbook on disc. I have all kinds of things coming up. It's all fun. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you in the next time. Bon appetit.